Highways at night are lonely places. Just you, the hum of your engine, and your headlights cutting through the fog. But every now and then, something happens on these roads that can't be explained. Something that chills you to the bone. This is the story of a hitchhiker who may not have been alive at all. The mysterious vanishing hitchhiker of Route 16. It was the winter of 2010. A cold night in New Hampshire. 36-year-old James Walker was driving home after visiting a friend in Concord. The road stretched out in front of him, dark, quiet, and covered in patches of drifting fog. For miles, he saw nothing but trees and his own reflection in the glass. And then, just past a bend in the road, he noticed a figure standing on the shoulder. A girl. She couldn't have been more than 20. Thin jacket, light jeans, her hair pulled back loosely. She looked small against the vastness of the highway, her arms wrapped tight around herself to keep out the cold. James slowed down, rolled to a stop, and lowered his window. The girl leaned in, her face pale but calm. "My name's Clara," she said softly. "Could you give me a ride home?" James hesitated. It was late. Something about the situation felt wrong. But she looked harmless, maybe scared. Against his instincts, he unlocked the passenger door. Clara climbed in, thanked him quietly, and folded her hands in her lap. She stared out the window as the car pulled back onto the road. For the first few minutes, neither of them spoke. The only sound was the engine and the faint hiss of tires on frosted asphalt. James tried small talk. Was she okay? Did she need to call someone? Her answers were short, calm, but distant. "I just need to get home," she said. "It's not far." About 10 minutes later, she spoke again, this time more firmly. "Stop up ahead, by that church." Through the fog, James spotted a small wooden church, its white steeple reaching into the night sky. The gravel lot was empty. He slowed, pulled in, and turned toward Clara to wish her good night. But Clara was gone. The seat beside him was empty. The door hadn't opened. He hadn't heard a sound. She had simply vanished. James froze. His knuckles gripped the wheel as his heart pounded in his chest. He spun around, scanning the back seat, the churchyard, the road. Nothing. No footprints in the frost. No movement in the shadows. He stayed there for several minutes, too shaken to drive. When he finally made it home, he couldn't shake the image of her face, her quiet voice, the way she'd stared out the window like she'd been searching for something. The next morning, James told a friend what had happened. His friend listened carefully, then said something that made his blood run cold. "You just described Clara Thompson. She used to live here, but she died years ago." That night, James dug deeper. He asked around, searched for old news reports, and the story came together. Clara Thompson had been a local girl in the late 1980s. Popular, bright, with her whole life ahead of her. One rainy night, after leaving a party, she was walking home along Route 16. She never made it. A driver speeding down the icy road lost control. Clara was struck and killed instantly. The accident happened just a few hundred yards from the very church where James had dropped her off. She was buried in the cemetery behind that church. James thought maybe his mind had played tricks on him. But then he learned he wasn't the only one. Over the years, countless others had seen Clara too. In 2003, a truck driver swore he picked up a young woman on Route 16. She said her name was Clara. He drove her to the church, and when he stopped, she was gone. He told police he could still feel the weight of her in the passenger seat. In 2015, a college student said he nearly hit a girl who appeared suddenly in the middle of the road. He swerved, pulled over, heart racing. But when he looked back, there was no one there. Even in 2019, drivers reported seeing a pale girl in a light jacket, thumbing for a ride in the mist. Some stopped, some kept driving, but all of them described her the same way. So what's happening on Route 16? Skeptics say it's folklore, that fatigue and darkness can make drivers imagine things, that stories of Clara's accident have spread so widely that people convince themselves they see her. Others believe it's a case of mistaken identity. Real hitchhikers, misremembered in the haze of memory, turned into a ghost story over time. But believers are certain Clara is still there, that she's a restless spirit, doomed to relive the final moments of her life, forever searching for a way home. Some go further. They say if you don't stop for her, she appears in your rearview mirror, silent, watching you. Today, Route 16 is still a lonely stretch of road. Locals warn travelers not to drive it alone at night. Some say Clara is harmless, only looking for kindness. Others whisper that giving her a ride is dangerous, that letting her into your car means inviting her into your life. But one thing is certain, too many people from too many different walks of life have told the same story. A pale girl on the roadside, a name whispered softly, and then a disappearance that defies explanation. Clara Thompson died decades ago, but on foggy nights, drivers still say she walks Route 16, waiting for someone to take her home. So what do you think? Is Clara just an urban legend? A case of mass hysteria? Or does her spirit still haunt that lonely stretch of road? Let me know your theory in the comments. And if you found this story chilling, subscribe for more mysterious tales. Because Clara's isn't the only story of the road that remains unsolved. And the next time you're driving at night, headlights cutting through the fog, ask yourself one question. What would you do if you saw a girl standing on the side of the road?